Hello everyone, Jake here. Today we're going to unbox this Festool TS 75 track saw and all the things you need to buy to go with it, and we'll have a little discussion about this thing. I've been wanting a track saw for a long time, and I have a couple table projects lined up. They're a little bit thick slabs. We're going to cut one today at the end of this video. We're going to finish that off with that. I did a poll on one of my other videos on do you think I should get a Festool or not? And I've done a lot of research on this, and a lot of people have these saws, and there's a reason for it, is because they're good, high quality saws. The knock against it is it's expensive. And anytime you're gonna have a good tool, it's gonna be expensive. And that scares a lot of people away. Now with my experience with tools, I used to be a mechanic and I had tons and tons of tools, and at first you try to buy the cheap stuff to get by, but at the end you always end up buying the better stuff because you're doing it professionally or whatever. You need to have a quality tool at the right time to be productive. This right here, I might not make a lot of things, but the things I make, I want them to be nice. I had a few friends that buy these Festool track saws, Drew Short, Al Schultz. I'll put the links to their social medias befor. Y'all should already know Drew Short. They both said spend the money and get it. And there's other brands out there that they're good saws, but you're still spending hundreds of dollars, so why not get the best one? That's my thought process on it. While I was doing research on the track saws, and Festool in particular, it seems like there's two kind of people while I'm reading the comments and watching the videos and all that. There's people that have Festool products and they love them, and there's people that say they're too expensive and they wouldn't own it, or there's another tool better. Let's have a conversation like that in the comments. Please be nice to each other. Let's go ahead and get all this stuff unboxed, and I'll go tell you what I have real quick. This is the TS 75. I have two 55-inch tracks. I have two of these clamps that hook to the tracks that hold it down, and then two of these bars that hold the tracks together. So I'll get all this stuff unboxed real quick, and then we'll go over some of the adjustments on here and kind of look at how this works. Here's the saw, and the first thing you're gonna notice is there's green stuff everywhere. Anywhere there's green is gonna be an adjustment. The trigger, and this unlocks it so you can plunge it, and then you got your trigger right there. This is your says fast fix right there. You pull this, and then you just push it forward all the way, and it'll lock. And then that will allow you to change your blade. And then you unloosen that hex key right there and change the blade and put it back and tighten it back up. It's all locked in place right there. Wait, right there. Locked in place, of course, once again. Even if the cord has green on it and it's not plugged in. This right here is a splinter guard, and it's supposed to help a lot with splinters and getting a cleaner cut. And put this back in, so all you gotta do is push that back in. Comes right back up. You have a speed control for your motor right there. These little green knobbies right here will adjust your saw to your track, and we'll get into that in a second. This right here, since I bought this in America, it's gonna have it in inches, so it has a graduated thing right here. So I'm about to cut into 3/4 plywood, so just gonna push this in and move it to where you want. All right, and there's 3/4 inch right there. For the time being, I'm going to leave it down there. One thing we have to do is make sure that the blade is 90 degrees right now. And so we'll do this like this. We'll do this again. And then I'm going to set it like this. I have a square. You're going to set this in between a couple of these teeth. And it is... right now it's absolutely square. It is 90 degrees right now, but let me get this back over here. If you wanted to adjust that, there's a screw right here. There's a screw right here and a screw right here that will, you screw it in and it's gonna lift this up, loosen it up, it's gonna come down. And then if you wanna move that, you got a knob here and a knob here. Move the saw whatever degrees you want. You see the little green right there, it can go to 47 degrees this way and anywhere in between. And you get it where you want it, you just lock it down. But we want 0 right now, so I'm gonna put it back on 0. And just because it's brand new and I wanna make sure, I'm gonna do this again after I lock it in place. And once again, it's still 90 degrees. So I guess what we need to do is look at the other stuff here. We got our tracks here. These are 55 inches long, and I got 2 of them because put them together and you can do a whole sheet of plywood. Underneath, there's 2 foam strips and then a plastic strip right here. What we need to do is get the saw adjusted to the track, and then we're gonna make a cut and we're gonna cut this. It's gonna cut part of this strip away and it's gonna create a 0 clearance, and that's gonna make a beautiful cut. And we should do that now. I don't know if you're gonna notice or not. You should be able to hear it. There's a lot of slop in there right there. So these little knobs right here is gonna tighten that up for us. I'll just tighten them both just a little bit. Tighten it just a little bit. And do it like that. The same on each one. Still moving around. Next thing we need to do is put the saw in here, plug in the saw, put some dust collection to it, and we'll cut off this strip that I talked about. Let's do it. See, there's the plastic right there, and I'll show you. That blade's gonna come down and hit that plastic if we can see it. Hopefully we can see it. It's going to come down and hit that plastic and create 0 clearance. That wasn't so bad, and I'll try to show you the quality of the cut and how that splinter guard works, or that 0 clearance piece. You can see that blade cut right through that plastic and down into the wood, creating a beautiful cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this stuff out of the way, and the piece that I want to cut, I'm gonna set it up, mark it, and we'll set the depth and cut it real quick. So all I did was make a pencil mark, and you see the pencil mark right there, and you just lay it right there, right on top of it. Same thing here. Lay it right on top of it. Make sure this one's still here. Nope. Good to go. Good to go, and we're going to cut it. Man, that wood was stressed. As soon as I get down there, it started trying to pinch it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up just with an edge cut and see how that does. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is the first look I have at this, how this computer desk is going to be. It's going to be a river table. It should be pretty neat. So let's get this all gathered up and I'll give you my final thoughts here. I hadn't even talked about the sustainer yet, and I think it's pretty cool. I have a big problem with keeping all my tools that belong to one tool in one spot, and I'm sure this is going to help me out a lot. There's plenty of room in there for everything, and it's nice and neat and clean. And if you get more tools, they'll stack and lock together and all that. I would have used the clamps on this because there wasn't a lot holding this down, but there wasn't any, it's an odd shape, there wasn't anything to clamp to, so that's why I didn't use these. If you notice, I had a pretty good kickback in that. It was because I had never used a plunge saw before, and I was kind of looking at, I wanted to hit the end of the board, and I was kind of pulling it back while I was pushing it down, which is obviously not good, and I learned a lesson the first time out. Scratched up the track a little bit, but that'll remind me not to do that. There's always a learning curve on everything, and this thing, it made a beautiful cut. I learned that the dust collection, I have something cobbled up over here. I need to get better or get the right stuff for this. It was still pretty good, even though I had some Mickey Mouse stuff hooked to it. I don't regret buying this. A lot of people have the same problem I did. I wanted one for a long time, and I really couldn't justify spending the money. Somehow or another, we all get what we want to get. So this right here, if I had to name it, I don't know who names their tools, but this thing's going to be called Stimulus. So I do a lot of resin casting. I'm going to be doing this river table coming up. I do a lot of turning, so if you're into that kind of thing, subscribe and hit the bell and all that stuff, and we'll see you next time, and y'all be good.